I've had some interesting facts that I just found out that some Trump voters are regretting voting for him. So if you are one of those, put it down why you regretted voting for him, because there's a lot of stuff coming out that he has been lying about. So just wanted to give you that update that there is a lot of people regretting voting for him. Have a good night.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So I don't know about you, but I keep hearing about how just huge masses of Americans are regretting their votes for Donald Trump.
I don't even think you really know what a bad day is. But you're gonna find out.
It's a huge problem. It's happening a lot, guys, okay? I keep hearing about it over and over and over again. If you go on the liberal side of TikTok, which is seemingly the only side of TikTok, it's what you will see. If you go on the liberal side of X, which yes, still exists, it is what you will see. And the funny thing is, it is never someone saying directly to the camera in a genuine, believable manner that I regret voting for Donald Trump, and then clearly laying out why they regret voting for him, what it is exactly that has been just so shocking and egregious in these first 3 weeks that has made them regret their vote for Donald Trump. It's never someone saying, I regret voting for Donald Trump. It's always crazy progressives looking into the camera with their crazy eyes, saying things like FAFO, talking about all these other people who regret voting for Donald Trump. Who are those people? We don't really know.
It's too late. What's done is done.
No.
There's nothing I can do, Bojack. I'm not real. None of this is.
So I'm genuinely curious about something. I know that many of you voted for the president, who is currently in, and you know, everything that's happening right now, all these executive orders, we all know that there's a purpose behind them. But I'm curious if it's really changing some of your minds. Now, I'm not gonna shame you. You can write to me if you want to. I'm not shaming you. I have been in a position where I was completely snowed by someone who is a sociopath, who has zero empathy. And I know how easy it is to fall into that, but I'm genuinely curious. I've seen some reports of people who have voted for him who are now saying, oh my God, what did I do?
Hi friends, I just want to come here and kind of ask your opinion on how we are dealing with all the friends, family, neighbors, strangers who has since the election regretted their vote. What are we doing?
You're a dummy, bitch. You will never know shit. Don't nobody want you. Don't nobody need you. You done
So, okay, there, you saw that. And yet, somehow, I'm sure you've heard, Donald Trump's approval rating is higher than it has ever been.
First CBS News poll of Donald Trump's second term, and he starts off on a positive note. So I'll show you that he gets 53% approval from Americans. And that is better than he ever got in our polling in his first term. One very simple reason why. People say that he is doing what he said he'd do. So look at that, 70% saying he's doing now what he promised in the campaign. For his supporters especially, they say he's doing even more than they expected, and they like what they see. Here's another thing that echoes back to the campaign, and that is descriptors of Donald Trump. In the campaign, they described him this way: they still do, tough, energetic, focused, all get big majority.
Of the ledger, and I decided to average all the polls. And you know what? The average of the polls also has him on the positive side of the ledger. All right, let's take a look. Trump's net approval rating on February 9th. Look at this. In 2025, he's at plus 4 points. Look where he was in 2017, his first term at this point. He was at minus 5 points, so he's doing nearly 10 points better on the average. And more than that, as I mentioned, it's not just the CBS News poll. It's the Ipsos poll. It's the Gallup poll. It's the Pew poll. All of these polls have him in better shape than those respective polls had him at this point back in 2017. So the bottom line is, no matter where you look, Donald Trump is more popular than he was 8 years ago at this point in his first term, and he's on the positive side of the ledger versus the negative side of the 0-point line as he was back in 2017.
And now Donald Trump has had more days with his approval numbers above water, which we call it having more favorable than unfavorable, in his second term than he did in all of his first term. So it sort of tells you, I think, yes, Donald Trump is unquestionably more popular this time around.
Oh, it was so interesting to me that Donald Trump's first net approval rating of his second term is higher than his entire first term. And I was interested, has that ever happened? Has the second term net approval rating in the first month, have you ever had a higher rating than any net approval rating during the entire first term? Donald Trump is the only...
I have a hard time believing this.
This is 100% true. I went back. I love spreadsheets. Donald Trump is the first guy ever whose net approval rating in the first month of his second term is higher than any rating that he had as an entire first term case.
So, I don't know. It doesn't really match up with this huge rash of people that I'm being told are now regretting their votes for Donald Trump for some vague, indeterminate reason. And yet, his approval rating is higher than it has ever been before. It doesn't really make sense, does it? And not only that, but the American people specifically support Donald Trump's handling of the border and his deportation plan. And you saw there specifically, again, the American people think that Donald Trump is overwhelmingly making good on his promises. Additionally, if you look inside this poll, which is available online, you will see that people under 30 support Donald Trump 55% to 45%, which is astronomical. He is up with Gen Z. He is up with millennials. He is up with everyone. His approval rating is higher than it has ever been before. And yes, I understand the honeymoon phase and all of that, but this is a unique situation, obviously, and the fact that Donald Trump is not a new president. We have had him for 4 years before. Now, admittedly, we had a 4-year break, so possibly, yeah, this is some kind of honeymoon phase. But you know what? I think Donald Trump is going to end some wars here, and then his approval rating is going to go up. Okay, and I do think prices are going to at least level off, if not go down a little bit, certainly gas probably. His approval rating is probably going to go up. So sure, this is maybe a little bit of the honeymoon period, but you can't really just pin it on that because, again, this is not a new president. As far as all these people regretting their votes for Donald Trump, I'm sorry, but I think that my fellow Americans are smart enough to know what they voted for. This, to me, just seems like tacitly another way, a thinly veiled way, of yet again calling Trump supporters stupid. You're not smart enough to know what you actually voted for. We tried to warn you. You're too stupid. You're deplorable. You're garbage. That's what this seems like. You know who I hear about the most when it comes to regretting their votes for Donald Trump, allegedly? It is Latino Americans. And I'm sorry, I'm not one to call anything and everything racist, but that to me seems a little bit racist. I actually think that Latino Americans, and we know that 46% of Latino voters broke for Donald Trump, which is a record number. I think that Latino Americans are smart enough to understand what they voted for. Donald Trump ran on enacting the largest mass deportation agenda in history, and I don't know why you assume that Latino Americans are too stupid to have that compute in their brains. I'm very confused what it is exactly that is so shocking to Latino Americans specifically, or to any Americans in the first 3 weeks, again, that is causing them to en masse regret their votes for Donald Trump. I just do not buy it. I'm sorry. No one's abuela has been deported, okay? We know this administration has made it very clear, Border Czar Tom Homan has made it very clear that this administration is currently focusing on the worst of the worst, those who have been identified as public safety threats. Now, if you are a criminal alien who's harboring one of the worst, who's aiding and abetting one of the worst, then yeah, you will most likely be caught and deported, despite you maybe not having a violent criminal history yourself. So, don't break the law, which is something you've already done if you're here illegally, but don't break the law by aiding and abetting the very people that this administration is looking for. But I'm sorry, ICE agents are not in big cities going around and locking up abuelas. So again, don't really understand how the narrative is coming together here of all these people specifically regretting their vote for Donald Trump. In fact, we have a new poll that just came out from the beginning of February from The Hill that says that Hispanic New Yorkers support Trump's deportation agenda more than any other racial group. And again, we know 46% of Latino voters voted for Donald Trump, which is again a record number for a Republican candidate. So honestly, this is just a poor, pathetic attempt at a psyop. It is just another lie from the Democrats. I saw one video in particular where a woman is very somberly looking into the camera and soberly discussing this. And she has a montage of videos, of clips of people saying that they regret voting for Donald Trump. And I can tell you that at least one of those videos from the montage is indeed fake. It is satire. It is a man doing parody. And that's just what I found in literally 5 seconds of research. Okay, I found that video and found it to be a parody in 5 seconds of research. So you can only imagine how many more of these videos included in this somber montage are also meant to be a parody. Okay, take a look.
Genuinely, I have come across a good bit that are authentic, and I think it's important for people to see.
In 2 weeks, I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man. I messed up. As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump because I thought he was going to deliver on his promises. And now I quickly realized that I have to FAFO, and the whole country will have to FAFO. And it's just ridiculous about what's going on right now. I sincerely apologize. Like, Donald J. Trump, he's taking so many W's, bro. Like, it's just insane. Like, I should have not voted for this guy. Like, he's actually doing his job, unlike other presidents who don't do their job. Like, bro, I wish I could go back in time and vote for Kamala Harris, because this is just crazy. I wanted Ukraine to get more military aid and more money. I wanted Israel. I wanted all these people to keep getting money, man. I wanted fucking foreign countries to have transgender operations. Like, dude, I regret it so much, man.
There, you saw that. And there is nothing that has been shocking in these first 3 weeks. If anything is surprising, it's just the fact that all of his picks will likely be confirmed, which is basically unheard of. It's the fact that he's the first and only sitting president to go to the Super Bowl. It's the sheer number of executive orders that he has put out. I mean, this man is a machine. He never stops, but that's what I've heard, so it shouldn't be surprising. But there is absolutely nothing that Donald Trump has either done or not done in his first 3 weeks that is so egregious and so shocking that it is causing large swaths of Americans to regret their votes. He's doing what we voted for. Now, he hasn't done it all, but it's also the beginning of the 4th week. So again, just the fact that he hasn't done it all is not a reason to regret your vote. And just to wrap up here, I wonder why Democrats can never be honest. It's one of the things I realized the most when I walked away from the Democrat Party is that this entire agenda is built on lies. It is built on emotional pleas, emotional manipulation, emotional outcry, but it is not based on reality. And I wonder why the Democrats think we're so stupid when we are the ones who can't stop winning. We are the ones who just completely demolished in an election. It wasn't just Donald Trump winning. He also won the popular vote. It was also the House. It was also the Senate. And 10 counties in my very blue state of California shifted red. And when you look at the map, there's a whole lot of red. So I'm just curious why it is you think that we're the stupid ones who are now just regretting our votes because we didn't realize what we voted for, when we're also the ones who can't stop winning. If someone's stupid here, it doesn't seem like it's us. Okay, guys, I will see you next time. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. It helps me out so much. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see more of on this channel. I'm open to suggestions as I'm transitioning into more long-form content, and I will see you again soon.